Hi, everybody. It's no secret if you're watching this in the month that it was recorded, which is 2022 of October, the world events are probably weighing heavily on your mind. And if you're not affected, you probably know many who have had a lot of mental and physical toll taken on them from all of these different impacts of traumas and world events and just our news feed that won't stop feeding us negative news. But thankfully, there are different ways that we can support ourselves during these trying times. And I've been trying to provide you with various different resources. And in providing you those resources, we also had to talk about some not so happy statistics. I want to kind of change the tone in this video and talk about something a little more happier. I'm Dr. Sarah, and today I want to discuss with you 4 essential oils that can help us relieve stress and enhance our physical resiliency during the fall months or just any times where our body and our minds are up against a lot of different stressors. Now, what I specifically want to do in this video is discuss the kindness of the design. Through all of the negative information we're being fed, there's a gentle hand in Mother Nature that has a specific and delicate intelligence that is also powerful in the way that she supports us as the months transition, as well as our moods and our physical needs transition. Now, all of the information that I'm going to review in this video, you can find in the video description in the link to the accompanying article. And also make sure you scroll down because I offer a lot of additional resources, free courses, as well as courses that you can take for continuing education if you're a practitioner, and all of the different ways that we can support our minds and our bodies from stress, and also just balance our hormones and balance our minds and our whole body. So make sure you check out those resources as well. Okay, let's look at these 4 essential oils. But before we start, let me give you an overview of the mind-body support provided by nature's intelligence that I alluded to in the beginning. So first of all, when in Northeast especially, when the seasons transition into the fall, you get a lot of sweet smelling spices that fill the air. Okay, now the cool thing about these sweet spices is that during the winter months when there's more baking and we're using a lot of more of these spices, it's not just that the aroma is comforting and that it uplifts our mood, but all of these herbal aromatics also have powerful protective, repair, and wellness properties. They're high in antioxidants, and they're also antimicrobial. They also promote digestion, which is very important for holiday meals. There's also a musty scent, if you remember when you kind of walk through the leaves, if you've ever been in the changing seasons and see the leaves start to fall off the trees. Now, this musty scent is emitted from the volatiles of the aromatics that come from the leaves and from the different plants, and this is as the leaves die, and these evaporating compounds are known as essential oils, and they support our mind and body and spirit in so many different ways, which we're going to go through some of them today. But I just think it's interesting that we get a rush of them literally falling from the deciduous trees as we need them. Now, after these interim leaves have gone, the phytonosides start to fill the air, and these are powerful aromatic constituents that are released from the leaves and stems of fir oils that predominate. And these components have been shown to help decrease stress. They've also been shown to impart a powerful effect on our defense and repair processes throughout the whole year. And this is why a walk in the woods among the pine and the spruce trees can be so exhilarating, uplifting, and promote well-being. Finally, The cool thing about nature and all her intelligence and givingness to us is that plants vary in their quantities of constituents produced in their essential oils depending on the season, the climate, and the atmosphere. So this means that the essential oils that we're enjoying throughout the year are extracted from the leaves and plants that are shifting their phytonutrient production based on the survival needs of that particular environment. And this results in better support for our own human wellness because these compounds are specific for that time, that location, and that place that we're in. So very cool stuff. We have the spices with all of their wellness promoting properties. We have the essential oils that are emanating from the deciduous trees. We have the phytonosides that are coming from the firs and the spruces and all of those different wonderful trees. And then we have the changing consistencies and constituencies of the essential oils as the atmosphere shifts and as different properties of the environment change, which will also benefit us. So I just think that is truly amazing that nature is providing us in all of these different ways and getting our bodies boosted as we move into the chillier weather. Now let's look at 4 essential oils that I picked out as my favorites for this year. I pick out specific favorites every year to highlight. And one of the first ones that I want to review is pine oil. Now, pine oil has a wonderful fresh smell and it brings the great outdoors to the indoors, and it contains those phytonosides that I talked about that are both immune supporting and stress relieving. Now in Japan, there's this practice of forest bathing, which is a holistic treatment based on going out in nature, walking among the woods. And this is used to enhance the immune system and again, to decrease stress. And this has been actually studied that these specific phytonosides are one of the reasons why immune markers are improving as well as stress levels are decreasing. And they measure that through the stress hormone cortisol. Cool thing about pine oil too is that as the atmosphere gets more moist and chillier, mold can start to kind of accumulate in our environment. And there are some petri dish studies that show that pine oil can cleanse the air, acting as a fungostatic. So that helps clear out mold or helps stop it from growing. Now, of course, we're aware of the caveats of petri dish studies to humans, but when you're talking about an environmental clue and using it like in a petri dish study, that's kind of more relevant because it's already outside the human body that you're using this for. Now, before I move on from pine oil, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a caveat here. You want to be sure of the species and chemotype that you're using because this will determine the overall general effects of the person as well as your own individual characteristics and your preferences and biochemical individuality. But specifically, there are different kinds of pine species and they will contain different amounts of either monoterpenes or these oxygenated compounds of different kind of monoterpenes that are hydrocarbons and monoterpenes that are oxygenated monoterpenes. And the ones that we're looking specifically for, if you want to boost those phytonosides, are the pinene. And those are found in Pinus salvateris. So remember when you're kind of looking at the genus and the species of the essential oil bottle, to look for that if you're specifically looking for the pinene and the phytonosides. And the percentages will vary based on the tree's location, the manufacturer quality, and distillation method. So always check with the quality of your essential oil supplier. One of my favorite ways to use pine oil is diffusing because it brings, as I said, the great outdoors into the indoors, boosting the mood and also your body's resiliency. Okay, so pine oil is one. And then I kind of cheated and put a bunch of them into the second category, which is, as I said, a category more than essential oil. They're the sweet spice oils. So you think of cinnamon, clove, orange spice, ginger, and nutmeg. And these are high in antioxidants. They promote defense and repair. And as I said before, they're antimicrobial. They're also uplifting and they promote a feeling of comfort. Now, interestingly, their aroma is said to enhance abundance. And this connection to wealth lies deep in our past. If you think about the prosperous history of the spice trade and the commerce that it has a robust tradition that led to the discovery of new worlds. And if it weren't for these desires of nations to find new routes to these spices to accumulate riches, we might have a whole different American history. So one of the best ways to use the sweet spices of the fall in my mind is to combine 3 of them that you really love the smell of in like a 3-to-2-to-1 ratio. So kind of the strongest smells to the least kind of more gentle smells. And it gives you a beautiful, rich smelling fall blend. And I like to use an atomizer diffuser when I'm using essential oils for the therapeutic properties, because that keeps their delicate constituents intact. You never want to use essential oils that have delicate constituents and heat them up, because you're going to actually potentially damage those molecules that are supposed to be providing our body with therapeutic benefits. So we have the spice oils, we have pine oil. Third one, I love this time of year and all times of year, is copaiba oil. Now, copaiba contains a natural cannabinoid to benefit and regulate the mind and body. You may have heard of beta-carpholine. It's a big kind of terpene that is found in cannabis, and it's also found in hemp. And it's one of the many various terpene compounds that are said to also have some of the benefits of this plant. Now, interestingly, these dietary cannabinoids interact with our endocannabinoid system. And this is a very underappreciated system, kind of like how the microbiome kind of got ignored for a long period of time. Same can be true of the ECS, or the endocannabinoid system. It is in charge of a variety of biochemical processes, regulation, and major functions in the body. Now, the body produces its own, and which is termed endogenous endocannabinoids, that affect many of our central and peripheral responses. And a dysregulation in the ECS is linked to various disorders. So again, the discovery of the ECS was actually found because of the psychoactive component in cannabis, delta-9 THC. You've probably heard of tetrahydrocannabinol. Now, beta-carpholine has evidence of binding to one of the cannabinoid receptors in our body, but not the psychoactive one. It has beneficial effects on the brain. Now, there was one article review with 5 subjects. They reviewed the compounds in cannabis, including the beta-carpholine, and what would happen with inhalation of these specific compounds. And what they found is the beta-carpholine was shown to increase alpha and theta waves, which indicated a relaxing antidepressant and anti-anxiety effect. So overall, if you look at some of the different mechanisms of actions of copaiba and the effects in small clinical trials, copaiba is calming to the mind. It benefits the brain and skeletal system, and it can help bring balance to the body. I just want to warn you again, kind of like I warned you with pine, you have to be really careful of the quality of the copaiba oil, because it varies a lot. The sesquiterpene content varies a lot based on manufacturers, and it can range anywhere from 30 to 90%. So sometimes in the research, when they take different commercial samples of copaiba oil, only a specific amount is going to actually show the intended like anti-inflammatory effect or the effect that they're finding. And that's because copaiba is kind of a hot item right now. So make sure that you are discussing with your manufacturer the quality control, okay? So copaiba is something you can diffuse, you can apply topically, you can even take a drop diluted in a capsule as needed. Just if you're going to take any essential oils by mouth, make sure you know what you're doing, that they're insanely good quality. I mean, super, super careful with how well their essential oils are manufactured, what their different quality control measures are, etc. And you should either be well experienced with this yourself or be working with someone who's well experienced with using essential oils internally. Okay. Copaiba, spice oils, pine oil, and now onto the famous Thieves oil blend. Now, Thieves oil is a wonderful combination of clove, rosemary, cinnamon, and eucalyptus and lemon oils. And these contain various compounds that help cleanse the air. They provide antioxidant support, antimicrobial support, and they support lung health, especially with that eucalyptus that's high in 1,8-cenol. Now, this blend can be diffused to decrease environmental triggers, to modulate inflammation. They actually did some trials in moldy homes with Thieves blend, and it showed to decrease the mold count. Thieves is also good for oral care. It helps improve concentration if you're diffusing it. It can aid in alleviating discomfort if you use some diluted and apply it topically. You can put a small dab on a toothpick, or you can dilute a drop in a quality oil and place it on a tooth that might be hurting. And I like to just diffuse this combination regularly just to support overall body system health and freshen up rooms all throughout the year. Now, I couldn't stop at just 4. Thieves was kind of the grand finale, but 2 others that I wanted to make honorable mentions were spruce, because this is another oil with those phytonicides, and it also has that stress immune boosting properties, but it also can help you feel grounded and secure and balanced, and that is really important right now. And then frankincense, which is the king of oils, is great for centering the mind and also has immune and neurological support that it has with different various compounds in it, and it's balancing to the mind body as well. So there you have it. I know it's easy to get sideswiped with the negative news these days, even with the best of positive intentions. So I wanted to give you some comfort in knowing that through all these trials and tribulations, there's a kindness to the design underneath. And we can pay attention to this and bring focus to this too, because nature is providing us with her tools to support us during these trying times. And using essential oils can help us to resist, to defend, and to help repair our mind and body and fortify our spirit for the days ahead. So remember, think of this year, pine, sweet spices, copaiba, a Thieves blend, spruce, and frankincense. Maybe you have other favorites that you can share with us and list them in the comment section. I would love to hear some of your favorite oils for fall transition and what your experience is. And if there's any other topics that you want to hear about, please let me know and place them in the comment section. Remember to check out those resources that are listed in the video description. And it would do me a huge favor if you could like and share this video so I can continue to pass on this information and get this content out there to people that it would benefit from. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about naturopathic, functional, and integrative mind-body medicine. And thank you for your interest in making this world a little bit happier by focusing on some good news for the day. Take good care, and I'll talk with you very soon.